For people who are not whatever, it's like there will always be an Egypt and there will always be a Goshen. So what the days of heaven and earth is a supernatural provision of God for everyone who is interested. I don't know if you're getting what I'm trying to say. But not for everyone just that is available. If you are not going to serve the Lord and then live according to the ordinances of heaven, those things, there were people who were in darkness in Egypt. Frogs, flies were disturbing them, darkness, and yet in the same place. The ideology of heaven and earth in the end time is the supernatural provision of heaven for God's children. That while everything comes into decay, we will still be living as ancient or as aliens, upon this earth. It does not matter how bad Nigeria is, the American ambassador can never suffer. Because there is an established embassy in Nigeria that makes sure that they take care of their own. He, knowing the ordinances of America, lives according to the standard of America, not the standard of this nation. His protection is supernatural according to their American. So he does not spend your currency, he spends his currency. Because there is a supernatural provision within the context of the decay, quote unquote, in any nation that makes sure he still lives a certain life that is actually very decent above certain people. So when he says days of heaven and earth for all of us, it is that God's intention that for as long as you are bought by the blood, by the token of the everlasting covenant, that you are preserved and live a certain kind of life. So it behooves you all for you not to actually pay attention, because this is God's supernatural provision for you. For all of us in this end time, we are, notice when Bishop said what he said, he didn't say we are in the finest hour of the world. We are in the finest hour of the church. Because the more you study God's word, you will realize that the world and the fabric thereof is growing old. It's fading away. But upon this earth, God has said we are not supposed to fade away. We are supposed to live our life in a certain way that glorifies heaven. It says, do you know here the ordinances of heaven? Can thou set dominion thereof in the earth? Now let me quickly move on, and I'm going to come back to that. Heaven is more than a location. Heaven is a realm. Heaven is a realm. And you need to know that. Heaven is a realm. Heaven is a realm. And by it being a realm, please listen to me. By it being a realm, it means it's an actual place also that functions at a certain different frequency than where we are right now. It's an actual place that exists, that if certain veils were... Now, look at the way this curtain is right now. Somebody can be behind this curtain. If we pull this curtain, then you see that there's somebody hiding, wearing a white cloth. But because of the veil that is covering, you don't see, there is a veil covering, as it were, that makes it to be two different places. But it is an actual place. It is a realm. And the things about every form of realms is that every realm has dimensions. Now look at the earth now. The earth is a realm. But you have the dimension of the sea. You have the dimension of the air. You have the dimension of the earth. It is a realm, one realm, but different scalable dimensions. And those dimensions are as real. The same thing. Heaven is a realm. It's a realm, and there are dimensions. There are dimensions. I don't know if I'll be able to get it tonight. When you start talking about dimensions, you are talking about things that have breadth, length. When he was talking to us about the love of God, he started talking about some of the dimensions, the length,